And we are live. How's it going, everyone? Today we have a special guest from Venus Protocol. Danny, the Global Community Deputy, is going to be joining us. How's it going, Danny?
Hey, Greg. Awesome. How's
Yeah,
everything?
not too bad. Just kind of getting the morning kicked off here. So, kind
Yeah.
of for those who are unaware of Venus and their decentralized money markets, can you give us sort of a brief introduction to the protocol and the services?
Uh, it's pretty easy. We're a lending and borrowing protocol, so people can just come in and deposit any assets and borrow against it without having to go through different processes.
Gotcha. Yeah. And this is kind of like one of the most fundamental building blocks of DeFi, right? Like this is what I
Yeah.
go in when I explain DeFi to people, these are kind of the protocols that are the easiest to explain. They make the most sense and they have a lot of utility. So I think
Yep.
that's really unique. And kind of I touched on in the beginning that you're the global community deputy. What kind of does this position consist of in day-to-day responsibilities for Venus?
It's actually it's a lot. It's a lot. You got to pay attention to other questions, complaints. Promote Venus. Uh, provide a lot of information to the user, suggestions to the team also for better market strategies. Uh, I participate in writing, reviewing all the content on the Venus website, the blog, and the couple of other platforms, social media, etc., and a lot of business development as well. With different projects and negotiation, trying to grow the use of Venus.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely. It sounds like you got a ton on your plate. I mean, when we were kind of communicating before the live stream, you had a ton of sort of just stuff going on. I know that. So, kind of to transition there, I know the swipe team withdrew from Venus. Kind of how has this affected the new team? And are you guys kind of complete now? How's that kind of coming along?
It has been a long process, definitely. There's been a lot of hire done already, and we're still hiring actually key positions. So it's still an ongoing process, but we're doing very well, very good.
Gotcha. Yeah. And has that like is there any sort of information you can give on the withdrawal, or is that just something where they came away and you guys were able to then just put together a new team?
Well, when Swipe withdrew from Venus, we had a lot of help from BSC, Binance Smart Chain, and they're the
Gotcha.
one actually leading all of the process right now. So the hiring and everything else, they're the one leading for Venus. They're the one helping us basically.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's super cool that even though there was kind of just like this hiccup in Venus withdraw or swipe withdrawing, that you guys have kind of been able to come together and make it work. And I think that kind of displays the power of decentralization. Like that's a big
Yeah.
focus of Venus. And kind of just to touch on like a main piece of news, there was this big hiccup with XVS, and it was kind of like an artificial pump, and there was a lot of borrowed BTC and ETH that was stolen.
Yeah.
Kind of this has been one of the biggest focuses and kind of how Venus is going to reprimand this and move forward so these things don't happen again. Just to like give a little background, you guys touched past the VIP 29, which granted aid
Mhm.
to the
Correct.
two wallets that were largely affected by the liquidation. And kind of what this governance proposal did is you guys are allocating $3.3 million or selling $3.3 million
3.3 million XVS actually. Yeah.
XVS. Gotcha. 3.3 million XVS over 9 months to repay the BTC and ETH. Is this something where you guys are worried about the selling pressure this will create? I know you guys are utilizing Binance exchange to liquidate this. Is that something that will help?
Well, we're not really worried about inflation because if you compare it to the 24-hour trading volume, it's really not going to make a difference, especially when Binance is handling it very carefully. The 3.3 million XVSs, they haven't been moved to Binance yet. So this process did not start already. Uh, but yes, we do trust Binance, and all the money from the liquidations, they're going to be reused also towards the two shortfall wallets. So it's going to reduce the amount of XVS that we're actually going to spend.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that makes sense. And it sounds like you guys are going to be using Binance's kind of professional trading team to deal with the liquidations. So it does have sort
Yeah.
of a less effect on the market. One thing that I do think is a little bit notable, and you guys are only really compensating these two large wallets that were affected. Is this something that where the average user wasn't affected by this market manipulation as well?
They are the two shortfall wallets. So basically, that's where the debt is for the protocol. Unfortunately, yes, many users were affected, even I, because yes, I had over leveraged positions. So yeah, I was also liquidated. Lesson learned.
Gotcha.
Do
Yeah.
not use over leverage.
And a big part of this, like taking it away, like we can obviously sit here and kind of dwell on what happened, but it sounds like Venus is looking to kind of almost like how to move forward from this. What can you guys learn? And this is kind of all the recent proposals that are a part of Venus V3. How do these
Yeah.
kind of aim to reduce this overall risk and learn from this liquidation event?
Well, the most important aspect of a money market is risk control. So basically, Venus team released the risk control framework and the new interest rate model. Uh, that's and we're constantly doing adjustments to reduce any possibilities for another pump and dump or another event to happen like this.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so kind of for these risk factors, what are the mechanics behind them? How are you guys sort of looking to identify the risk?
Um, well, basically, we're reducing collateral factors on many currencies that have lower market liquidity.
Gotcha.
So that's one of the biggest risk management. So by law, if you lower collateral factors, people cannot pump and dump as easily a token. I don't know if you get me.
Gotcha. Yeah. And that I remember looking into like the Flashland exploits a little bit, and it kind of has a lot to deal with the oracles in it. When you lower the collateral factor, I believe it just makes it easier. Like more of it, the pairs can
Yeah,
not the pairs, but the assets can handle more volatility.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that makes sense there. And kind of just to take a step back a bit, I mentioned sort of these governance proposals, the VIP. That's kind of what you guys coined them. And the point behind these is kind of to make Venus a decentralized protocol. So while there's
Yep.
a team behind it who kind of sets out these proposals and kind of is looking after what's best for the protocol, the idea for this is it kind of comes down to the team at the end of the day, or not the team, I'm sorry, the users at the
Yeah,
end of the day, correct?
yeah, okay, absolutely. Right now, there's a voting process which includes the community. Yes, the governance has 600,000 something tokens, but right now the voting process takes into account the number of different peoples or wallets that votes and not the actual weight of the wallet. So we always look for consensus from the community, and the governance is applying the votes where the community wants. And with the new XVS vote, actually, it's going to be the community voting. I
Gotcha.
don't,
Yeah.
yeah. So we released the new tokenomics yesterday, which
Yeah.
explains a lot about the new process.
And this is a part of the VIP 36 proposal, correct?
No, VIP 36 is for borrow limit, collateral factors and interest
Gotcha.
rates. Yeah, for XVS, State, and Matic.
Gotcha. And so you're touching on the tokenomics a bit. I don't know if I'm completely familiar with that. Can you maybe outline those a little bit, the big changes that came out of that?
Well, the biggest expectation was for VRT to be used with XVS, but unfortunately, it's I don't know. It's very hard. It's very hard to code it, and there's not really a point to use it. So there's a lot of how do you say? Sorry, I have so much notes here.
No worries.
There's a lot of good things coming into Venus with the new XVS Vault, with the new tokenomics, where XVS and the Vault will earn a lot more APY. We'll also earn revenue share. We're going to have buyback and burn. So there's a lot coming to Venus. Unfortunately for VRT, there's going to be a Vault. People are going to be able to deposit. They're going to earn 3% APY. And they're also going to be able to swap their VRT for XVS tokens.
Gotcha. And is this something that's going to be permanent, or kind of over time you guys are looking to phase out the VRT token?
No, yeah, it will be phasing out within 12 months. So once the Vault is live on Venus and VRT deposits enabled, it's going to last 12 months.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then VRT is going to.
And I think that's really interesting, because when I was kind of doing some of this research for the live stream, I was looking a bit into VRT and kind of trying to understand how it worked as a reward token. And almost to me, it just seemed like an extra part of the ecosystem that didn't have too much use case. So I think it's definitely can be beneficial in the long term that you guys are kind of focusing solely on XVS and don't really have this other token you guys have to worry about. I also do think it's. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's actually a lot bullish for Venus. We're getting a lot more closer to AVI on BSC than before. We're definitely going in the right direction, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I definitely like how you guys are doing it in sort of a phase. You're not like immediately slashing it. You're still offering the vault. It may not be exactly what was expected, but at the end of the day, this is kind of something that may benefit Venus more in the long term. So I think that's pretty unique. Just to jump back a little bit, I was mentioning the VIP 36. Were you saying this one's currently being voted on right now?
It should be executed in about 2 days.
Gotcha. And so kind of the point of this VIP is I thought this one was pretty interesting and notable. It kind of is to incentivize more borrowing for these pairs like XVS and SXP, correct? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. XVS, Cake, and Matic, correct?
And yeah, exactly.
Perfect. And so kind of the idea here is like XVS, Cake, and Matic are kind of they have high demand, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Well, XVS borrowing is going to be eliminated. So basically, the new interest rate for XVS is going to kick up, so that people have to return their borrowed XVS token. And then, of course, for Cake and Matic, we're only adjusting interest rates so that when there's less liquidity, higher interest, higher gain for depositors, and higher interest also for borrowers.
And so this was something I was going to ask, is this going to be kind of create more sell side pressure on XVS? I know it'll create a little bit, but it sounds like you guys are kind of basing it off of demand. I'm curious what kind of your guys' thoughts of the inflation pressure this will have.
Yeah, it's not going to be affecting XVS because the XVS emission rate has been lowered. It's been halved before. So yeah, I don't see it creating any sell pressure.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then so for those who just kind of aren't familiar, there's going to be new interest rate models kind of integrated on XVS, Cake, and Matic, or maybe you can offer some clarity. This might be across all of the assets, but these models are called a jump rate or kink model. And pretty much the idea behind this, like you mentioned, is to drive higher XVS rewards or interest rates to the assets with lower liquidity or less demand. So it kind of makes sure, per se, on the opposite end of that, if you have maybe a pool with way too much liquidity in it, and the liquidity is not being utilized, there'll be a lower interest rate, kind of incentivizing less people to deposit the liquidity there and better spreading out the rewards to other pools. At least that's my understanding of it.
Yeah, exactly. In the new model, most of the token interest rates, they'll kick up once they reach a certain level of usage and liquidity. So on one end, it's going to reduce the problem of liquidity on deposits, and it's going to bring Venus more interest income also for depositors.
Gotcha. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And so ideally here, just to clarify a little bit, because I know it's a big change. So VRT will not be distributed as any rewards to kind of any of these assets for lending and borrowing, but you did mention you guys will be opening up a vault, correct?
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be a vault with a 3% APY, and there's going to be also within the 12-month period of the vault, users can swap VRT to XVS anytime at a 12,000 to 1 ratio. So 12,000 VRT for 1 XVS.
Gotcha. Definitely. That makes sense there. So I think overall, kind of, there's these two big things that were going on. I think it's great that you guys are kind of starting to move forward, get past sort of this exploit and learning from it. You guys are working with the collateral factors more. You're incorporating these unique interest rate models to kind of make lending and borrowing a little bit more efficient, especially for the users themselves.
A lot more for, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, gotcha. Is there kind of what would be sort of the features you're most excited for that are coming up in the future on Venus?
Definitely on the new vault, I love the revenue share and I love the buyback and burn, of course. That's gonna make Venus a lot more rare.
Gotcha. And actually, we had someone in the chat asking about the XVS burn. Sort of what are going to be the mechanics behind this revenue share in the buyback and burn?
Hold on a second. Let me pull up the.
Yeah, no worries. And I mean, I imagine it's something.
I'm going to send the link.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm going to try and send the link for everyone to see it.
Sweet. And I imagine this is just going to take a small amount of revenue off of the vault and then go ahead and buy XVS off the market, kind of to start getting toward, like, battle some of the inflationary pressure.
Yep. Hold on a second. I'm trying to send the link for everyone to see, but let me send it to you. Hold on.
Perfect.
Not working. Sorry.
No worries there. And if anybody else has any questions, they can go ahead and drop it in chat. We'll see if we can't clear up any confusion for people. Other than that, kind of while you're looking, I know it might be a little bit hard to multitask. How has...
I'm just trying to...
Yeah, sorry about that. Were you a part of the Venus team while Swipe was there, or were you kind of part of the new team that came on?
No, I was part of the moderators, so I've been a big supporter of Venus since day one. So I was part of the investors and moderators team, and then I took on the role after Swipe left to keep things going.
Gotcha.
Somebody had to do it, and I'm the bridge between the Binance Smart Chain team and the new dev team and the community.
Perfect. Yeah, that makes sense. So you kind of are working with Binance Smart Chain and sort of working on all of these overall things.
Yeah, they've been helping a lot.
Perfect. And then I'll let you get back to that link there. Someone's asking in here what the utility of VRT is, and you might have missed the discussion earlier, but VRT is going to be slowly discontinued. For the time being, there's going to be a vault that's going to offer 3% APY, and users will also be able to swap VRT to XVS at a 12,000 to 1 conversion rate. And this will just kind of slowly be phased out as the rewards from the vault are exhausted. Correct, Danny?
Yeah. Well, there's probably going to be a lot more VRT left after that, but they're just going to be burned at the everything that's left over will be burned.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm trying to find our. Hold on. I'm having some issues here with multiple.
No worries. You're lost in the tabs.
Yeah, exactly. But people can they can go to the last Venus tweet and they have a link here to everything.
Perfect. And this, for people who are just tuning in, this is regarding the buyback and burn. Um, and it's going to be a new sort of pulling from Vault's revenue and buying XVS and burning it on the market.
Exactly.
So,
Basically, 20% of the protocol revenues are going to be used for buyback and burn.
gotcha. And so someone is asking, will Vault feature cause to increase the price of XVS? I know you don't have kind of, there's not a yes or no answer to
Well,
that, but sort
there's
of,
not a yes or no answer, but definitely will, because XVS and the new Venus Vault will be locked in for a certain time period, and there's gonna, they're going to receive revenue sharing also from the project income. So definitely, it should convince people to leave their XVS in the vault and earn a lot, better interest and the revenue share from the protocol also. So yes, it will reduce circulation.
gotcha. Yep. Perfect. And then any last kind of questions here people can start to drop in the chat. I see King Kong is asking where he puts in the secret code. Just give me 1 second here and I'm going to drop the giveaway form there. And this form will be open for a few more days just to kind of get anybody else who trickles in. So just go ahead and fill out the parameters in that form and we'll be announcing the winners in a few days. Let me see. I think the giveaway form closes in 2 days. So just be on the lookout for the announcement then, and you'll be able to do that. Other than that, we'll be looking for anybody's last questions. Danny, is there any sort of kind of features or releases that you'll be able to tease or anything that's sort of on the horizon that XVS holders can be looking forward to?
Well, definitely the new Venus Vault is going to be awesome. Uh, you know, XVS buyback and burn, 20% additional income. Actually, 20% of the protocol income will be distributed to people that deposit XVS in the vault. So that's a big plus also.
Gotcha. Yeah. And just to elaborate on that, that is going to be the XVS vault. And that's kind of the next big thing coming up for XVS holders, sort of a way to direct protocol revenue into the token.
Yeah.
I think this is really kind of a nice story here, how you guys, like, there's no doubt that like there was a lot of hardship in Venus in the past couple months, between kind of the liquidation event, the swipe team withdrawing, and then just overall the market itself has just had a very significant correction. So kind of no matter what happens,
Yeah.
nearly all sort of DeFi tokens got a massive correction. And so it's nice for you guys to be able to sort of learn from these mistakes. It's super cool that you guys have came onto the stream and are kind of outlining these things.
It's a lot of learning. Yeah, a lot of learning. It's challenging, but we're definitely going in the right path.
Yeah, and I think that's great there. So for users, kind of like the biggest things that have been going on is the new tokenomics, the risk assessment framework, and the VIP 36 proposal. So those are kind of the things that are going on right now or are on the horizon. Other than that, Danny, it was great that you were joining us. And I mean, we'll be staying tuned on what's going on for Venus. Other than that, thank you for coming on and joining us on the live stream.
No, thanks a lot to you, Greg. Thanks for inviting me.
Yep, perfect. And then I'm just going to go ahead and close this out. So that was pretty interesting there. That was nice that Danny went ahead and joined us. He touched a little bit on the vaults, and he did try to point you guys over to the Twitter where you can get some more information regarding that. He was mentioning, let's see, here we go. I found the link there. So this is going to be the tokenomics link for the new Venus tokenomics that I just put in chat. Other than that, it was pretty unique. I think overall, the idea that Venus did go through some hardships and they're kind of learning and moving forward with a brand new team is pretty notable. So it's something to keep an eye on. Other than that, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing lots more of these live streams with projects. Also, my co-founder and Ben, or my co-founder Ben and I will be hopping on weekly live streams to kind of cover the market. So there will be tons of content coming out of this YouTube channel. So please go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to enter the giveaway and stay tuned for the next live stream. Thanks everybody for tuning in.